Hi, welcome to another week of Stamp Camp here at 2peasinabucket.com. This week we're going to focus on background stamping. The first card I'm going to show you, we're going to take a large wood grain background stamp from Hero Arts and stamp it right on the background of the card. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink my stamp up really good, and then I'm going to lay the card on top of the stamp and use a brayer to transfer the ink to the front of my card. Sometimes when I'm using a large stamp like this, I like to kind of do it in reverse like I'm showing you. It helps make sure all the ink gets transferred to the surface. And there you can see what it looks like, all stamped. And now I'm going to add this great floral stamp, also from Hero Arts, to the right side of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with some Distress ink, and then I'm going to just stamp it right there along the edge. I love with clear stamps you can see right where you're stamping. So there you can see what that looks like. And now I just want to add a little bit of shading to the stamp design, so I'm going to take some colored pencils and just color in those leaves a little bit. I'm going to leave the flowers alone because I'm going to be doing something different with those. So I'm just coloring in the leaves, and then I'm going to blend it a little bit with some Gamsol. Now I'm going to add some paper flowers right over the top of the stamped flowers, and I'm just going to pierce a hole there and adhere them with mini brads. Now I'm ready to add my greeting. I'm going to use this set from Technique Tuesday, and for the thank you I'm going to stamp that in black ink right on this yellow paper strip. The rest of the greeting is for being in my life, and I'm going to go ahead and use some yellow ink for that and stamp it right underneath the thank you there. I like using a couple different colors of ink. It just adds a little bit more interest to your stamping. And once I've done that, I went ahead and adhered it to a blue cardstock strip and put that on the front of my card. I had to remove one of my flowers. And then I reassembled it once I was done. And that's what the finished card looks like. For this next card, we're going to be using shaped background stamps. And for this card, I'm going to use this wood grain circle stamp from Hero Arts. And I'm going to stamp it with Versamark on some yellow cardstock. And then I'm going to take this mustard embossing powder from American Crafts, and I'm going to sprinkle that on, and then I'm going to heat emboss it. These embossing powders are great. I'm using the opaque ones. Just going to knock off some of the rest of that embossing powder, and you can see how great it shows the detail of the stamp. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and use a circle cutter. I'm using the Colossal, and cut out my stamped image. I cut my card down to 4 1/4 square, and there I'm going to be putting that stamped piece in the middle. Now I'm ready to use this leaf, or this branch stamp I should say. I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with some Versamark and stamp it on some brown cardstock. I also want to use some embossing powders on it. This is the leaf color embossing powder from American Crafts, and I'm very carefully going to try to apply it only to the leaves. It won't be perfect, but close enough. So I'm just really carefully applying that and then just shaking it off as I go, as I work. I wanted to do a two-tone so that I could do the leaves in green and the branch in brown. These embossing powders are really nice. I really like these. So then I'm going to go ahead and take the chestnut color and apply it to the rest of the stamped image. And then I'm going to heat emboss that and cut out the branch to use on my card. And here's what it looks like once it's embossed. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this little cloud word bubble on some blue cardstock using Versamark. And I'm going to emboss it with some white embossing powder. And then cut out that shape as well. Oh, before I cut it out, I should say I heat embossed it and then I added my greeting right inside of the stamped cloud, and then I cut it out. Finally, I'm going to stamp this cute little owl on some white cardstock using some Black Memories ink. And then I'm going to color it in with colored pencils. And I'm just kind of using several different colors here to shade it. And then I'm blending it with some Gamsol. And once I have it all colored in and blended, I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And now it's time to assemble the card, and I'm going to adhere that stamped circle first. My adhesive isn't cooperating very well. I'm just going to adhere that right in the middle of the card and then add the branch. And then I applied some pop dots to both the owl and the little greeting word bubble for just a little added dimension. And a cute and easy card using a shaped background stamp. And there's what the finished card looks like. For my final card, I'm going to show you what you can do with some background stamps that's a little untraditional. And I'm going to start by stamping this smaller background wood grain stamp on some yellow cardstock, just doing a tone on tone again. And then I'm going to take a punch and just punch out that shape. And there you can kind of get a closer look of what it looks like. And I'm going to repeat this several times. I'm going to take some green ink now and this houndstooth background stamp and stamp it on some green cardstock. This is one of my favorite ways to use background stamps, is to stamp them on some paper and then either cut them out with a die cutting machine or a punch. It just adds a nice texture to your punched or die cut pieces. And there you can see what that houndstooth looks like. I really like that. Okay, and here is a screen shadow background stamp, and I'm going to ink it up with some blue ink and stamp it on some blue cardstock. I really like the tone on tone look, so I use that a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and get my butterflies punched out of the paper. And I'm starting to get my card assembled. Here is a text print, kind of a scripty type background stamp. I'm going to do that in red. And once I have all of those stamped and then punched out, I'm going to kind of place my butterflies out to see what kind of placement I want for my card. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this greeting stamp from Hero Arts and lay that there to make sure everything works okay. And I'm going to stamp that using Versamark ink. I really want my greeting to stand out, and there's quite a bit going on this card. So I'm going to stamp it in Versamark first and then move my butterflies out of the way and sprinkle on some white embossing powder and heat that to set. The white will really pop against all the color and stuff going on there. And then I'm going to take these little mini glue dots and just put those right in the center or the body part of the butterfly and adhere those to the card. I'm purposely leaving the wings loose because I want to put pop dots underneath those. And then I just added some buttons and some string and I was finished. Thanks for watching.